Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's so nice to see everybody today. I see lots of folks in the room. I see folks out on Facebook. Hi, Facebook. Glad you're with us today. And hello to Ray Ray and Zeta. Hello, Zeta. Love having little faces in the room. Coming in from Chicago. Nice to see you. Mary, hello. Great to see you. Jennifer, nice to see you. Dick, great to have you today. That's Dick Jackson coming in from Victoria, BC. He was one of our Ubuntu leaders this week. Karen Porca also coming in from, I don't remember, but one of our Ubuntu leaders for the week. Great to see you again, Karen. Annette in California, great to see you. Love the braids. Karen, great to see you today, coming in from Arizona. Paula, nice to have you back with us again today. Glad you're here. Busy Graham, Executive Director of Carpe Diem Arts. Busy is one of our partners in this project. It's great to see you, Biz. Carolyn coming in from Idaho, Deborah in Kentucky, hello. Kathy in Virginia, Lynn in Connecticut, great to see you today. Lisa in Indiana, hello. Cora, nice to have you with us. Caroline coming in from the DMV area, and Nicola coming in from London, England, nice to see you today. And Sarah Glasgow's Doorframe coming in from the DC area, and Jane coming in from Pennsylvania, formerly from England. And Bonnie in Idaho, nice to see you today. Susan, hello, Sarah. Susan, nice to have you today. Carol, great to see you. And Terry, Dan in Virginia, hello. Luda, nice to see you. I think you might be new to us. Tom, also coming in from BC, great to see you. Alex, coming in from Tokyo. Let's all say good morning to 1 a.m. Alex over there. Nice to have you with us, Alex. Amy coming in from her car. Nice to see you. Be careful. Storm coming in from Massachusetts. Sheila in Florida. Adele, great to see you. Elizabeth Melvin, another one of our Ubuntu leaders of the week. Great to see you, coming in from Annapolis, Maryland. Dion in Massachusetts, hello. And let's see, Fred coming in from Maryland. Anne, nice to have you. Lots of other folks off video, and it's great to have all of you with us too. If I didn't say your name, I'm sorry. And hello again to Facebook. Great to have you all. Especially hello to Mary in Omaha, who actually came in yesterday from Missouri. That's the first Missouri we've actually had since we started. And Tiggs in Massachusetts, they come in every day on Facebook, and it's great to see you guys and to know you're there. Welcome to the Washington Rebels Carpe Diem Arts Daily Antidote of Song. We do this every day at noon, building community, finding a little bit of joy to ease some of the isolation, anxiety, and just the general 2020 anxiety. And we are here every day, even after this Ubuntu partnership ends. So please join us when you can. This week, we're very excited to be doing a partnership with the Ubuntu Choirs Network. So courtesy of Dennis Donnelly, my co-host for the week, we put together this smashingly wonderful, amazing group of singers who have been leading us all week. And it's just been amazing. It gets better every day. And we also have in the room Emil Dyer, who was with us yesterday and led us in a beautiful song. And Emil actually co-directs a choir with today's leader, Maggie, but you'll hear about all that from Dennis. So I would like to just say quickly, there is a donate link in the chat box, and all of the donations that go directly to the artists who lead us in song. I do want to shout out all of the Ubuntu leaders who very, very kindly donated their performances in support of the Daily Antidote. So thank you so much, Ubuntu leaders, for making this week possible. And my email's in the chat. Feel free to write anytime, either to get on our daily email list or with comments or questions. I want to thank Colin K. Bills, the production director at Washington Rebels, new title. I'm still getting used to it. And Colin has been my sort of right-hand guy for this entire program. And I'm going to turn it over to Dennis Donnelly, coming in from BC. Dennis is the, founding director of, Dennis, I'm going to let you do it. It's great to have you.
Right. I'm the co-founder of the Ubuntu Choirs Network, and the other co-founder is in the room here somewhere. I don't see her on my screen right now. Siobhan Robinsong. The two of us put it together about 16 years ago. The Ubuntu Choirs Network is the group of people who have all gone through our 2-week community choir leadership training course. It happens every year, not happening this year, unfortunately, for obvious reasons. But these people come from all over North America and beyond to so that we can share what we have, what Siobhan and I, and now Siobhan and I, and Kathy Baker and Dick Jackson, have learned about being able to start and lead a non-audition, socially responsible singing group. And so they go back and they start their groups, and now they're popping up like mushrooms all over North America, and we got thousands of people singing. I don't know how, well, maybe thousands, who knows? Lots of people singing in this parallel modality to the formal choir networks that are out there, which are wonderful as well. So that's the short story about that. I just wanted to reinforce what Joe said about donations. That's really important. A lot of musicians are struggling. I know of people musicians who normally have great concert careers and go around and earn okay money, not huge money probably, but enough to get them by touring and putting records out and that kind of thing. And they're really suffering right now. So if you have a little bit that you can put towards the donate link that's up in the chat box, that would be really appreciated by us, and that would make our Ubuntu participation in this whole enterprise from the Revels even that much more more special and more relevant. So just wanted to say that. So today's song leader is somebody I've known for a long time. She was in our course years and years ago, I think in the second year, I can't quite remember, and then the third year. And she went back to Los Angeles where she lives, and we told her about another person who took our course, Emil Dyer, and they got together and formed the Golden Bridge Community Choir, which is an amazing organization, and you can look them up online and check out videos that they've done. And Maggie, they do a lot of African stuff. Maggie writes a lot of the songs, and they have enormous energy on stage, and it's highly recommended that you check out some of their videos. And so without further ado, my old friend that I'm really excited about introducing, and I know what she's going to sing today, so I'm excited about that too. Maggie Wheeler, take it away, Maggie.
Hi everybody. It's so exciting to be here with you today. I've jumped into this room as a participant, and I certainly have been stopping in this week to see all of my Ubuntu family, and Joe, I know because you've told me that today is the 200th day of this experience. So how extraordinary that 200 days of singing has taken place. What an accomplishment, and what a beautiful, beautiful act of service and community buildings. Just extraordinary. So anyway, I'm super happy to be here today. And the song I'm going to teach you is a song that I wrote called Walk With Me. And this song came to me in a very unique way. I write a lot of songs for community groups and for singing with other people, but this song really came as if it were a message from somewhere else. And I was walking in a labyrinth. I was at the Omega Institute where Emil and I teach in the summertime, and I had a moment, so I decided to walk in this labyrinth, and this song came to me, the first three verses, very distinctly, and the whole way I walked in, I sang it to myself, and I sang it on the way out, and I felt like it was saying, remember me, remember me. So I ran to my phone, and I sang the first three verses into my phone. And at some point shortly thereafter, I shared it with our friend Sarah Thompson, who's also an Ubuntu choir director and a singer-songwriter, choir director from Duluth, and she was on a 200-mile water walk with a group of women praying for the water, and they were on their way back into Standing Rock, and she said, can I add a verse for the water? We want to sing the song. I said, please. I was so honored. So they sang this song at Standing Rock. When you hear the verse for the water, you'll know that that's where it was born. And then the song continued to grow, because shortly after that there was an unexpected loss in my family of a young family member who passed away in his sleep. It was very unexpected and really a tragic loss. And at that point I felt like I understood why this song had come. And my nephew's mother asked me if I would sing at the memorial, and so I added two verses to this song for the strength of community, because I saw how all of her community was surrounding and lifting that family up. And then after that, the Parkland shooting happened, and I added a verse for the children. And then sometime later, Emil and I were teaching at Esalen, and the families were being pulled apart at the border. And I was in a beautiful place, but so aware of all of this suffering. And so I added a verse for the suffering in the world. And then in the most recent months, I've added a verse for the safety of every black life. So that is the changing line in this song, all of those elements, and I'll call them out and you'll see them in the chat. The rest of it sounds like this. Let me find my key so I know that I'm going to teach it to you in the right key. Night and I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. That's the song. And that darkest hours of night is the line that changes. So I'm going to teach it to you a little bit, bit by bit. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. That's the first line. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. Then we sing, I walk through the darkest hours of night. I walk through the darkest hours of night. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. So that is how it goes. There's two harmonies if you want them. The low one says, I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. That's how the low one sounds. And I'll weave it in and sing it when we're doing the song. There's a higher harmony. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. So you'll hear those. That's how it goes. You'll get very used to it because it repeats. And sometimes I'll try to call out that changing line. Here we go. Not yet. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me in the service of doing what's right. In the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk in the service of doing what's right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the with the knowledge that we'll be all right. I walk in the light. I walk with the knowledge that we'll be all right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit. I walk with my neighbors to fight the good fight. I walk with my neighbors to fight the good fight, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk. I walk for the water is life. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light. I walk for the water is life, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in with the promise of healing in sight. I walk in the light. I walk with the promise of healing in sight, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit. I walk for the children and their right to survive. I walk for the children and their right to survive, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit. For the suffering, may we answer their cries. I walk for the suffering, may we answer their cries. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. For the safety of every black life. I walk in the spirit, I walk in the light. I walk for the safety of every black life, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the spirit through the darkest hours. I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me.
Wow, Maggie, thank you so much. That was remarkable. Absolutely great. The rhythm, the harmonies, all amazing. And the sentiment, it's kind of really a perfect 2020 song because you can just keep adding the new issues. And it seems as though we find new issues every day in the news, and you can just come up with, you could do it at home, guys. Write your next line to whatever it is you read on that particular day that's breaking your heart or making you sad or that you know needs fixing. Maggie, that was really great. It was really, really neat to see the evolution also of those verses. Thank you for sharing that with us. And before I turn it over to Dennis, I want to just do a couple quick shout outs. So speaking of the folks who are in the dark of the night, Cheryl Tay is now in the room with us. She's coming in from Malaysia. She's leading us tomorrow. And so hope you can join for that. I want to shout out Ting, who's new to us, I think, and who's bouncing a tiny baby on her lap, and it was really fun to watch. I want to shout out Zeta and Tenny, who are both in the room singing their little selves. I love it, guys. Thanks for doing that. And I want to shout out Kofi Dennis, one of our regular song leaders, who's in the room with us. Kofi, great to have you. And Janet and Peter on the percussion. Janet and Peter coming in from Toronto, but they're bringing their own percussive devices to our singing, and they were really rocking it out, Maggie. If you didn't get a chance to see them, they were remarkable to behold. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again, Maggie. That was super. And Dennis, I'm turning it over to you for some chat time.
All right, Joe, thank you. Now you know, everybody, why Maggie is a kind of a musical leader of our Ubuntu community. She's one of the people who shares a lot of songs and gets things rolling. Maggie, I want to ask you how you got into this whole song leading racket. I know that a lot of us are in it because of the enormous financial advantages, but in your case, it might be different.
Yeah, I said to Dennis earlier, I'm sitting on a pile of money right now. But no, I was very fortunate as a child that I was sent away for 2 months every summer, starting when I was 7. I have a summer birthday, so 7 turning 8, to an incredible camp in Vermont called Camp Killalete that was run by Pete Seeger's brother John and his wife Ellie. So I grew up sitting around a campfire with folk musicians. All of the counselors were folk musicians. And so in the main house there were banjos and dulcimers and guitars hanging on hooks. And that's what you did. You went to the little schedule and you scheduled a guitar lesson or a banjo lesson with these incredible musicians who also taught other things and kept us, whatever, bathed and fed. But it was a life-changing experience for me, because what I discovered was that that's where I felt most at home, was sitting around that campfire singing harmony with people, singing in harmony. And so I feel like from that moment on, I sort of sought that out in my life. And at some point in my younger years, I was also really interested in gospel music and in African music from a very early age. And at some point, I discovered Sweet Honey in the Rock somewhere in my late teens, early 20s. And I was very fortunate to be a student in Izai Barnwell's first vocal workshop that she ever taught, which was called, at the time, Black Choral and Congregational Singing, now called Building a Vocal Community. It was over 30 years ago, and it was a 7-day workshop at the Omega Institute, the first year that they, maybe it was the second, no, second year that they ever did an arts week. So that's sort of where the seeds were planted, Dennis. I followed Izai as a very dutiful student for years to come. She taught me everything I knew at the time. And then many years later, after I had kids and I'd taken a break from teaching and from gathering people in song, I had this idea to take a break from being a mother when my kids were 10 and 6. And I went to Canada, to Hollyhock, to spend a week with Izai. And it was there that I met so many extraordinary people from your choir, and not the least of which was Gloria Hansen, who came to me at the end and said, you know, the people who run my choir lead a training, and I think you're perfect for it. And I said, oh, that's okay. I haven't left my kids in 10 years. I probably won't leave them again. And she said, well, as I was leaving, she said, I just want to share with you this quote by Balzac, who said that for those who don't follow their soul's vocation, it just bleeds like the colors of paint through the rest of their lives, which is a bastardization of that quote, but that is essentially what she said to me. And, you know, the next thing, I was on a plane to Canada to spend 2 incredibly transformational, life-changing weeks with you. And shortly before that, Gloria did call me and say, you know, there's a gentleman in Los Angeles I think you might like, Emil Hassan Dyer. You should reach out to him. And so I reached out to Emil, and I was already teaching again, and he was teaching, and we watched each other and kind of circled around each other and thought, oh, you know, I think I was looking for Emil for many, many years, for a partner that I resonated with and somebody I could do this work with. And now we're 15 years into the Golden Bridge Community Choir, and you know, usually 100 singers strong, intergenerational. We've had children grow up and go off to college, and it's been incredible.
Wow. Yeah. Well, like I said, people, check them out. Check them out. And not so that's the backstory, but you've got things going on right now
I do.
with Emil.
I
Yeah.
do. So our choir is online right now. So we're in the midst of a new choir session that just began. And now it's our first sort of open choir session. So we've got people coming from around the world, which is lovely. And we're working toward a December 20th online concert. It will be our first online concert. Dennis, you're already a pro at this. But we'll be doing that in December. And when the pandemic happened, I started, you know, the shutdown started, I started a Saturday gathering called Together in Song, and we're coming up on our 28th Saturday tomorrow, and we meet every day from 1 o'clock to 2:30 Pacific time, and I bring 3 musical guests, 3 song leaders along, and we have 200 people coming from all over the world generally, and it's been a really incredibly powerful gathering. So much like Joe, I've been consistently holding down a place where people can come and sing every week.
How do people get on that list, Maggie?
There's registration is always available on my website at goldenbridgechoir.com on the schedule page. We have an incredible Saturday tomorrow with 3 amazing women, Michaela Gaston, Ayo Awoshika, and Emily Elbert, who are just all incredible musicians and singers and storytellers and spirit lifters. So if you want to come, just go to goldenbridgechoir.com, go to the schedule page and register, and you'll get a link.
Great. Thank you. All right. So I think that we probably all want to sing that song again. I know I do. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Let's
Also,
do
you
it.
should know that the recorded version, this is the extended version. I broke it open to put those other verses in, the ones that you hear a cappella. But the original recorded version is available as a free download on my website, because I felt like this song came not just for me, but for everybody. So if you go to goldenbridgechoir.com, you can download it there if you want to. Okay, here we go. Whoops, I did something funny. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, you all know it now. I don't even have to say another thing. Here we go. I walk in the spirit, I walk in the light. Darkest hours, I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the service of doing what's right. I walk in the light. I walk in the service of doing what's right. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the with the knowledge that we'll be all right. I walk in the light. I walk with the knowledge that we'll be all right. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. With my neighbors to fight the good fight. I walk in the light. I walk with my neighbors to fight the good fight. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. The water is light. I walk in the light. I walk for the water is life. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the spirit for the children and their right to survive. Oh no, the promise of healing. I walk with the promise of healing in sight. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk for the children and their right to survive. I walk in the spirit. I walk in the light. I walk for the children and their right to survive. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the spirit. I walk in the light. I walk for the suffering, may we answer their cries. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the spirit, I walk in the light for the safety. I walk for the safety of every black life. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. Thank you for singing with me, everybody.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Thank you for a powerful song. Thank you for to everybody in the room for all of the amazing ways I could see everyone participating. It was great to see more percussive instruments coming out. Shout out to Sarah Glasgow, who turned it into a work song. I saw her sweeping away. It's actually a really good sweeping song. I like it. And Maggie, there's a question in the chat before we say goodbye to Facebook. Somebody's asked about your shirt. Can you tell us about your shirt?
Yes, my shirt says Resilient, and it is, this is swag from Rising Appalachia. If you don't know their music, I highly suggest you check it out and go look for their song Resilient. It will take you through these days. It is the most beautiful, uplifting, seriously wonderful song. So Rising Appalachia, Resilient, thanks for asking.
Thanks, Maggie. Also, you mentioned to me if your next week's guest is already confirmed and you can announce it, can you announce it? Because they happen to be one of my favorites.
Yes. Okay. So tomorrow we have those three incredible women. And the following week on October 31st at 11:30, not our regular time, we are doing a 2-hour workshop with Zap Mama. They'll be coming from Belgium. If you don't know their music, you should come. It's an incredible, you can just get on my mailing list, by the way, goldenbridgechoir.com to find out about that. But you can also register. It's already up on the schedule page. And that's going to be 2 hours of singing and dancing in languages that you've never sung in. And they are the most vibrant and vital and extraordinary women. So come join us for the Zap Mama workshop on the 31st.
I hope you all will. I'm definitely going to be there. It'd be fun for all of us to get a chance to sing with Maggie again, and definitely fun to sing with Zap Mama. So hope to see you all there. And thanks again, Maggie, for an awesome song. And thanks again, Dennis, for the great co-hosting. Thanks to all the Ubuntu folks in the room for joining us again and for being such a great part of our community. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for being here.
200
And
days.